It is picked off by Aaron Crocker over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crock Talk TV podcast. Peace. Welcome to another episode of Wideout Wednesday. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back Eric Crocker. And as always, I'm joined with my dog Jasper Rose. Man, Jasper, what's good with you, bro?
What's happening, man?
Man, it feels good to. We got a game this Saturday.
We got a game. We got real things to talk about.
Man, but before we get started, make sure if you're not already, hit that subscribe button right now. Hit the like button right now. Underdog Fantasy. The show is powered by Underdog Fantasy. If you don't have the app already, download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com. Promo code Crocky when you deposit at least $10. You'll get an additional $25 put into your account. All right, so I'm telling you, it's much more than just a fantasy app. You got things that you can wager on, things you can kind of bet on, parlays you can put together, all kind of cool stuff, pick'ems, great stuff. So if you don't have that app already, download the app, promo code Crocky. Go do that right now. All right. But let's get into it, man. I think first, bro, we got to talk about Kyle Shanahan and his comments on your boy, Jalen Hurd. Now, you and I, we were just excited about Jalen Hurd and the possibilities of him coming back and all that. And then it's like, Kyle's like, yo, hold on. You got Jalen Hurd. I want to ask you, do you believe he's on a hot seat?
Yeah, I believe he's on the hot seat. I believe he's on the bubble. Based off the comments and kind of just based off the production, bro. Like at the end of the day, what I said, when we, in week one and week two, when we started this, is I think to this point, they've given him a lot of chances and they see the potential and they see what he can be. He's kind of an anomaly and a unicorn. But at the end of the day, this is also a business. And you can't make the club in the tub, man. And your availability, or lack thereof, will prevent you from making that final roster spot. And I think it's just come to the point where I think he had to pull himself the other day from practice. And there's guys who are out. I mean, are producing on the field right now and are just healthier bodies. Being somebody that's had this injury, I already know he's going through the soreness, and some days you can go, some days you just can't. And right now, when you're trying to make a roster spot, there's not much you could do if you can't get on the field. And Shanahan's comments basically made it seem like they're just trying to be smart with him, and it just sounds like they have to move on. And it's unfortunate because obviously I feel for him. From a personal standpoint, I feel for him more than anything. I'm disappointed though, because I personally, selfishly wanted to see what he could do. And we all love a good comeback story. And this is 2 years in a row now. And if he can't get on the field, obviously this year it'll be 3 years. And I just know, being somebody that's been hurt, I know he's probably devastated. More than anybody. More than shows like this and media, like as much as, fans everywhere that are disappointed, he himself, I'm sure, is more disappointed than anybody that he can't, his body just won't allow him to do the things that, he's used to doing. So, unfortunately, yeah, I do think he's on the bubble. I think he's on the hot seat. And at this point this week, the way it's looking, I don't know if he practiced today, but
he did practice today. He got 8 reps in 11 on 11, 0 catches, 0 targets.
At least he's practicing. So that's trending in the direction of, so with all that said, that is trending in the direction of him playing Saturday. So obviously, you and I know this is Wednesday. If you don't practice Wednesday, there's a good chance you're probably not playing Saturday or Sunday, because Thursday most likely will be some kind of light walkthrough with shells or just jerseys. And then Friday, of course, probably be a mental reps day. And then Saturday is game day. So at least he practiced today. So I'm sure he'll do some kind of walkthrough tomorrow. And hopefully we'll see him out there Saturday, and maybe he can make a case for himself. And possibly, save his career at this point.
And that's what he is. He's in survival mode now. Like, bro, you better practice today after what Kyle Shanahan said yesterday and the way that he said it. And I mean, I don't know. You got to go ask him next, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like Kyle's definitely fed up with it. I think Kyle's tired of just his team in general being injured so much. And now it's like, you know what? Like, dude, we know what you can do. And that's why we're so frustrated. Like, if you were just some bum, we would have been let you go. But we know the type of potential you have. We drafted you 3rd round. We want to give you every opportunity. And I don't want to say it's his fault. He's been hurt twice now with some serious injuries, a back and an
Serious.
ACL.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like you said, it's a business. And they started to invest in the position with other guys. They drafted Brandon Ayuk. You see other guys they brought in free agency, and we'll get to some of those guys. But now it's like you got, this is a cutthroat business. I mean, we saw what just happened to Kevin White, right? And we'll get into that a little bit, but him being released. Like, this stuff, it can happen. At the end of the day, nobody wants it to happen. Nobody wants it to happen to Hurd, but you're going to be given every opportunity, especially when you're a third round draft pick, which is pretty high still. But if you're not producing, if you're not, out there being on the field and being productive, it's going to be very difficult to make the team. And Kyle Shanahan said the same thing, like, dude, like, we want him to have the opportunity, but if he's not out there, like, what can we do? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I want to get kind of, let's have a bold prediction there. I mean, this is tough because obviously, he hasn't even played in the preseason game, which I'm sure he will, but do you predict he makes this roster? That's what I want to know.
As it stands right now, no. But again, that can all change. We know how preseason goes. I mean, there's been plenty of bubble guys that are potentially on the, on a roster bubble, even undrafted free agents that can make a name for themselves just off one play, and then the rest is history. So I'm definitely a person who's believes in faith, and I'm sure miraculous things can happen. So at this point, the way it's looking, I say he doesn't. But that's not to say it's over. He has, potentially this game, and if he makes the first round of cuts, another game, and obviously they lost the game this year with preseason, so it's only 3 games this year. So, if right now, if you had a gun to my head, I would say no. Just based off of also what the other guys are doing that that he's in direct competition with. So it isn't even just his unavailability to this point. It's also the other guys who are clearly ahead of him just with reps, the amount of reps, and then what they're doing with those reps specifically.
Now, one of the guys that you're talking about right now is definitely Trent Sherfield. And I always talk about like taking advantage of the opportunity. And I kind of on my podcast with Brian Peacock, got Locked On 49ers. If you don't listen already, make sure you guys listen to Locked On 49ers with myself, Brian Peacock, daily 49ers podcast, 5 days a week. We put out podcasts. We actually are recording right after this. I got to record with Brian Peacock and Matt Barrows. So Matt Barrows is going to be on the show. But anyways, I talked about the cornerbacks and how it's like, hey, Ambry Thomas, Diamador Lenore, you guys have an opportunity here. Take advantage of a situation where Emmanuel Mosley was out for like 2 weeks, and they need somebody to step up. And one guy already got cut, Harris. They cut his ass already. So it's like, dude, somebody step up and take advantage of this opportunity. When you look at a guy like Trent Sherfield right now, and I put Trent Sherfield applying pressure, is because every day, he's out there. He's making plays. He's stretching the field. He's working all levels. I mean, we just talked about this dude, and we actually got like over 1,500 views on that video. And now we're talking about him again because it's just consistently he's balling, right? I asked this question. If this was Jalen Hurd doing the same thing that Trent Sherfield's doing, what would the conversation be like?
The conversation would be he's a day one starter. Like, just based off the hype and how much Niner fans have been thirsty for this dude just to see him on a field in a regular season game. Yeah, if he was doing this, from day one and healthy and making some of the plays that Trent Sherfield has made, he would be he should be starting day one. He should be definitely the wide receiver 3 in that conversation by far, and it would probably be a lock at this point. Because I do know Shanahan likes him a lot just based off their relationship at the Senior Bowl, all the things. Like, Shanahan really, really, really wants Hurd on the field. So that's another reason why you could sense his frustration in the press conference the other day, because I think he's definitely betting on him. I guess like third round, yeah, that's an investment, but it isn't an investment that is gonna make or break the team. You know what I mean? But yeah, by far, it would definitely be a conversation that he would be a day one starter for sure if this was him doing that. Juwan Jennings is another one who I think if I think Jalen Hurd was even doing what Juwan Jennings is doing right now, there would be that same conversation. I see him making plays consistently as well since from day one. I see him consistently winning on deep balls. I've seen him winning at 50-50. I've seen a few plays where I was like, okay, that's 15. That's Jennings out there. Especially this past weekend, I saw him. Sudfeld missed him on a deep. I want to say it was a corner post. I don't know if you saw that. It was during 11. It was actually during their 11. It looked like it was just during their run. It was run emphasis, but they were mixing in some passes during that 11 on 11, and Jennings was backside wide open. Sudfeld missed him. He was wide open. Sudfeld won't be on the team for the 55.
You don't think so?
No, he shouldn't.
Well, I mean, they got two options. They got Sudfeld or Rosen, and it don't sound like Rosen's doing too much better.
It doesn't, but Rosen's better than Nate Sudfeld. We not finna spend too much time talking about Nate Sudfeld, but yeah, he
he's from Modesto, so he from the.
Is he? Oh man, okay, another 2-0 easy out here. Nah, Croc, I don't. Yeah, it's really between it's definitely between Jennings and Muhammad Sanu and Sherfield for that wide receiver 3-point position right now. I don't think Hurd's in the discussion until he makes a case for himself to stay consistently healthy for a whole week. And I don't know if he has that time anymore. But we'll see. We'll see Saturday. We really will see come Saturday, because a lot of things can change. A lot of guys can practice real good. A lot of guys could look real good in camp. And, when the lights come on, it could be a completely different story. Because last time we actually saw Jalen Hurd for real was in the game. And he produced. Right. Which is what I think still has him to this point that we're at, full circle. You know what I mean? It was a very small sample size, but when the lights came on, he shined. You know what I mean? In his limited action. So we'll see. Again, are guys really live right now in some of these? Like, I don't think anybody's really, really hitting. I don't think guys are competing and I think are running to the ball, but I think that plays into it too. Now on Saturday, they're going to be live on Saturday. They're going to be really competing and going against and hitting somebody else. So that's another aspect I think that isn't talked about enough, with how they're trying to run camp. And it's not like it used to be with double days and guys were hitting every single day. And they weren't as worried and cautious about injuries the way they were back in the day. So I think now they are. And I think a lot of guys can look a lot better too when they're not really going like full out live. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
thud and live. I think that plays into it when it comes to these reps. A lot of it, especially in 7-on-7, when they want to keep guys up. And I don't even know if they were live this past weekend at Levi's. Did they have a?
I don't think they were going to the ground.
Scrimmage. Okay, yeah. Even on the move, the ball.
I don't think they're going to the ground.
Okay.
So, Brian Carter, and man, we appreciate the contribution to the show, man. Much love. I appreciate it. I know you're always in here asking questions and stuff. How do you feel about having Sanu and Sherfield as wide receiver 3 and 4? I mean, obviously, I think part of it would be seeing how it looks in the preseason. I think and I don't want to just get caught up in the hype, right? I mean, I haven't even seen Sherfield on the field really active. Last time I saw him just really active was when he was with Arizona Cardinals. All right. So I don't want to just, disregard everything that I've seen from Sanu and kind of what he is and what he could possibly mean to the offense. But there is one thing that I like more with Sherfield, and I feel like you get more from him than you do Sanu, and it's that vertical threat aspect of his game. Like, Sanu's just not that at this stage in his career. And Sherfield is a guy who, again, he's not just winning on slants. He's not just winning on digs or outs or whatever. Like, he's winning on goals. He's winning on posts. He's winning on deep crossers. He's winning vertical and one-on-one. He's making contested catches. He got everybody saying that he looks like Antonio Brown out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you not saying that I'm that's who he is. I'm not putting that on him. But when, just the fact that he's competing, and again, I go back to, if it were Juwan Jennings, if it were Jalen Hurd doing these things that he's doing on a consistent basis, like, what would the talk be like surrounding that player? And I think a lot of what he's doing, it might go in one ear and out the other. But from everything I heard, and I was talking to my homeboy, and I'm like, man, I want to see him do stuff like that against the ones. And he was like, man, he has done stuff like that against the ones too. So it's like this dude has been extremely consistent. And again, I don't want to disregard anything I've seen from Sanu. And Sherfield was a guy who I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, oh, camp body, right? That's what they love to do, camp body. They don't have any plans on signing him or anything, but he's a guy that came in here and he's taking advantage of the opportunity. It's like, all right, like I'm a special teams guy, but I'm hungry. And I understand what it means to be a pro. And that's one thing that can't be understated in this situation. So I like the facts of having Sanu and Sherfield. And so far, from just what it sounds like and what they bring you from a value standpoint, all those guys, and you think of Debo, Ayuk, I'm good with Sanu and Sherfield being the two guys behind them.
100%. Me too. I would feel comfortable based off of what I've seen on film. Who's 25 right now in camp? Is that Jefferson? Tony Jefferson?
It was Fields. It was Fields. And Jefferson, I think
Jefferson was 41
like yesterday.
Yeah, he was 41. Oh, okay. So I don't know when this was, but I saw Sherfield just disrespect him. I don't know what it was. I think it was a fade route. And
that was Fields. That
wasn't Tony Jefferson he was doing like that.
Nah.
Where he just like kind of deboed him for the ball and it was like,
that was
and he was just like, well, yeah, he was. I was like, oh, he's got that dog in him too. So yeah, I'd be comfortable with him at 3 or 4 now. Seeing him and seeing how he is playing out there, and I think it's the 81 and the high socks that's making him look like AB out there. I don't know what it is, but
it's the helmet. It's the he don't got the D on, but he got the shut. He got the 2-bar. All right. Then it's just the way he got the gloves, the wristband, the towel behind him is like right in the back. Like the crazy thing is, and it's like, okay, like Antonio Brown, he looks like
even the way he runs like him too. He kind of runs like him.
Yeah, even the way he runs like him and attack the ball high point, all looks like him. But the crazy thing is he's like 30 pounds heavier and like 3 inches taller. So I mean, Sherfield, that's the one thing that I think people haven't really taken into consideration, man. I mean, dude's 6'1", 220 pounds. He's a big dude.
Yeah, you know,
and he's doing that. I don't know, man. There's something there. I don't want to get too caught up in the hype around Sherfield because again, we haven't even seen him in the preseason game. Same thing with other guys, right? I mean, we talk about quarterbacks, Trey Lance and those guys, but man, it's hard to not get excited when a guy has been so productive and so loud during camp so far. And I like his attitude. He's catching the ball, he's looking at dudes, staring them down. I mean,
I like it.
And I think
like that.
That's the difference between somebody who understands like what's at stake. I think sometimes when you're a rookie, you know what I'm saying? You're a rookie and you're coming in and it's just like, oh, okay, like I'm here, I got drafted. Like, and then you see a grown man that's trying to eat and feed his family in the way he's taking the field and how seriously he's taking it. It's just a different level of like just grown manish, like competitiveness. Like, you know what I'm saying? And Sherfield, he bringing all that. Again, he's a guy who was considered to be a special teamer. And he's like, nah, bro, I'm much more than that. I just need an opportunity.
Speaking of special teams, I don't think this is something we haven't talked about much. And I've seen your boy Grant talking about it a lot. That's another thing I wanted to hop on there with him about is he's been banging the drum for Brandon Ayuk to be the punt returner 1. And I just peeped the unofficial depth chart. And sure enough, lo and behold, Brandon Ayuk is listed as the punt returner 1. I do not like that at all.
Why not?
Your wide receiver.
I'm not saying I do. I'm just asking why not.
Yeah, personally, your wide receiver 1 should not be returning punts ever.
Well, Antonio Brown did it for several years, so that's your pushback.
He wasn't a wide receiver 1 yet. He still had I want to say when he was still returning punts with the Steelers, Croc. I want to say they still had
Emmanuel Sanders probably and Wallace,
and Bryant and Martavius Bryant. Yeah, so. And Mike Wallace. So same thing with Tyreek Hill. I want to say Tyreek Hill was still returning punts when he was still kind of a gadget player, or whatever, a return specialist, as Jalen Ramsey would call him back then. He was just a return specialist. That's what he went to the Pro Bowl as, not a wide receiver. And then we saw what Tyreek Hill did the next year when I don't think he was returning punts anymore that year. Your wide receiver 1 should never be on special teams, period.
So what do you think it should be like spot duty? Like just like sure. In like a key moment.
Exactly. Even D-Jack. I don't think D-Jack was returning punts anymore past his second or third year. And we all know what D-Jack was doing with punt returns.
Right.
So exactly. So at this point in his career, obviously he's got fresh legs. He can do it, but we don't want that. We want Richie James back there. Which we got to talk about him too. He also might be on the bubble. He's had the dropsies in camp so far. So I think he's definitely playing himself out of a role for sure. But he still brings that special teams value. So, he might have some wiggle room. And I think he also has credibility based off of what we've seen it from him in games. We know what Richie James could do. And I think they'll take that into consideration too. But I want Richie James back there. Who else could return, Croc? Out of that bunch. I seen somebody pop up say they agree. Yeah, there's
somebody said didn't OBJ return punts? And
his
again,
rookie year though, rookie year and second year. That's it though. Once you've established yourself,
I think it's some of it's spot duty, and you notice it when he's back there, but not the times when he's not. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I think even with Ayuk, the way I would do it is, if I feel like I need a spark or I need a flip field or something like that, and it's like a key moment or something, and I'm like, I need a little something else, then all right, I'll put him back there because I know he can crib some stuff. But just to have him back there as my primary returner all the time, I don't think I do that because, man, like I know like these dudes running full speed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Them gunners, like they're coming, and you have a split second to make a move. You got a split second to catch it, make a move on the first guy, then you want to try to hit a crease, but they can tackle you all weird. That happened with Dante Pettis, his rookie year. Dante Pettis got hurt week 4, I think, against the Chargers, where he just kind of got rolled up and his knee got all weird, and he ended up missing like 6 games. Like, you don't want Ayuk to get in that. Now, again, if it's out of necessity and there's a time where it's like, man, we need a spark right here, then go ahead, put him back there. But it is, I wouldn't make him my primary return guy.
No, especially given the injury history he's already had his rookie year. You want him and Debo as fresh as they possibly can so they could offset each other and play together. You definitely don't want them back there full time at all, especially when you guys have guys that are capable. That's the other thing. If they had nobody that was capable, like Richie James, we've seen Richie James crib kick returns. We've seen him get busy on punt returns.
Nobody likes Richie James though. The fans don't like
why.
Him. That's what I'm saying. He's not as bad. Like he's not as bad, but I'm saying like, but they don't really like him like that. Like they don't, for whatever reason. I mean, and he's had his weird moments as punt returning. I think the numbers say he's a little bit more average, but for whatever reason, people just don't like him as a return guy.
I'll never forget the Seattle game, his rookie year. When he cribbed that's when I really realized, okay, Richie James is a player. I think Richie James is a dog. Like, I really do. I really, really like what he brings on the field. Yeah, Shanny would get killed. That's why I don't think that unofficial depth chart, I think that's just for practice right now. Like, he might just be back there doing it for whatever, I don't know, just to make sure he can still do it just in case he's called upon. But I doubt. I'm not that much of a betting man, but I'd be willing to put a lot of money on that he will not read returning punts week 1 in Detroit. There's no way.
And when you say return, you mean like the guy.
The guy, exactly. Unless it's for, again, like you said, a spot duty. That's it.
Yeah, I can see that.
He would have to get up out of here.
I think somebody said that Richie James was a little safe. Where did I see that? Right here. He's too safe as a returner. And I will say this, Richie James, he was a little safe, but I think sometimes like that's what you want, right? Like you want somebody that's gonna field the punts, right? Like, can you just catch the punts first and foremost? Like anything you do after that is great, especially if that's your thing. But first and foremost, bro, I need you to catch the ball. So he did that. He did a terrific job of doing that. I think there was a couple times where I was like, a little nervous, a little shaky, but for the most part, over the 2-3 years he'd been returning, he was solid from that standpoint. Then a lot of times he'd get what you give him. Now, he might not get too much more. And again, there were a couple times he bust off some long returns, but for the most part, Richie James, he was going to get what you give him. So if you give him 5, he's going to get 5. If you give him 10, he's going to get 10. He's not going to get you much more than that. But I do think the underrated aspect of him as a returner was just the consistency of, 1, fielding punts, and 2, like just getting what is there to get instead of trying to do a whole lot of dancing and not getting anything.
Right, especially with a potent offense. You want to get that ball back, if your offense is clicking, like which most of the time it is, you know what I mean? I think you want to get the ball back into the offense's hands and let them, do what they do.
Now, this is a guy who I haven't heard much about. Nsimba, what's his last name? We just signed him from like the Rams. He's a smaller guy. I think he's a return guy too. Said he might make the team as a gunner, could take return duties. And those are the things, because there's that little returner for the Saints. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. What number is Simba in camp right now? What number is Simba wearing in camp right now? 14? Or is he wearing a single digit?
16 or something? No, it
Yeah,
can't be
he is
16.
wearing.
That's Joe Montana.
No, he's not wearing 16. Croc, what is he? What number is he wearing?
I've seen him out there. I can't think of what number
I
he's
have
wearing right
too.
now.
You know who also we haven't spoke about, and I keep seeing highlights of him. Like I've seen him getting, and I've also seen him getting reps with the ones. Watkins, number 7. Watkins.
Oh, okay, hold on. When you say get reps with the one, okay, you can't just, they're not just get reps with the one, because the way the 49ers do it at training camp is they just rotate their guys. So you'll
Fair.
see you'll see Debo with the 2s sometimes and stuff like that. I don't know if it's something to where they're just trying to keep guys fresh, but they just kind of rotate guys through. So at some point you can see a Watkins with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think that's why you're seeing that. So I know he did catch one vertically downfield recently.
He did. He looks natural out there to me. Again, he looks like I told you, like a poor man's Brandon Marshall. When I watched his tape, that's what I saw. Like
Brandon Marshall was like 6'10".
Brandon Marshall's like 6'4".
Okay,
Brandon Marshall's like 6'4". He's like 6'4".
No, almost 6'6". That's a big dude. He's 6'6", like 6'5", 230. Brandon Marshall is Jalen Hurd size.
Fair. And Watkins is like your 6'3", 215.
I think he was listed at that, but I think he measured in at like legit 6'1".
No.
Yeah.
Watkins is a little bigger than that, Croc. Okay.
No, he's not skinny. He ain't skinny though.
No, yeah, he's solid.
But he is like a legit 210, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've seen him make plays, and I'm like, okay, he's probably I would say he's headed for practice squad. I think he's still raw. I think that film, those first the mini camp film where he was getting
locked up by Lenore. I think that's in a lot of people's mind.
It is, but I think he's bounced back from that. I haven't seen like too much chatter on him, but I haven't seen any negative. He's like in that middle area where, you know, there's the people that we're saying, oh, they're on the bubble for sure. And then there's the people that, okay, they're killing it right now. Your Debo's, your Ayuk's, you know what I mean? Jennings, Mohamed Sanu. I've heard those guys, they're having good camps. Watkins, I think, is kind of in that gray middle area. I haven't heard, but I've also seen him featured in some of those clips. And I'm like, oh, that's 7, that's Watkins. I see you. So I think he's someone to look out for, again, practice squad. I think he's going to definitely make the practice squad. Not the final 53, though.
Yeah. And that's a guy that fans are probably, he's going to make a couple plays in the preseason. Fans are going to be like, don't cut him. He's got to make team. They're going to cut his ass and he'll be right back on practice squad. So he'll be good.
I haven't heard much from other fans. I think your boy Rivercraft is like this year's the past few years. I think he's like the Kendrick Bourne, I think, of this. Like fans, justice for River Craycraft, I think. But I haven't heard too much about him in camp. So I think he's out of there too. I think he's Wheezy out of there. I think so. Personally, I think he's out of there, Croc. There's just a lot of positions. There's not a lot of slots, and there's a lot of competition right now for those positions. And I haven't heard much from Kelvin Benjamin or Travis Benjamin. I think he's out of there too. Because he, at this point of his career, he's not an explosive punt returner anymore, kick returner. He's way down there on the depth chart as far as the kick return and punt return.
Yeah, and they got guys younger than them, and you know, ideally, the team is always going to lean more towards the younger guys if they can, because the veterans like Travis Benjamin, come week 1, their roster, their salary for this year is guaranteed. So if a team can go a cheaper route, a more inexperienced route with a kid, they're going to go that route because, hey, we'd rather keep him knowing we can like cut him at any time and we're not on the hook for the entire year, as opposed to a guy like Travis Benjamin, where it's like, if he's on that roster week 1, then we're on the hook for that $1 million for a year, even if we don't even plan on using him.
Right. 100%.
Yeah. So what are you most looking forward to seeing in this preseason game? All right, 49ers got the preseason game this Saturday against Kansas City Chiefs. And just so you guys know, I will be live streaming the entire game. So I'll be watching the game and we'll kind of be watching it together. We can call it a watch party. All right, so I'll be live watching the game actually on this channel. My guys 49 365, B Amici and JB, they're actually going to be going live post game on this channel as themselves, as their show. We're going to add that to this YouTube channel. All right, so you'll get their initial reaction afterwards, but again, I'll be live watching it. But what things are you looking for, man, from these receivers? Is Juwan Jennings, like, who are you excited to watch? Because I mean, we know like the guys, what certain guys are going to look like, but who are you like, I really can't wait to see how this guy does? And it's probably one of those guys that people don't care to watch, but it's just preseason, probably not going to make it.
Right. I would say probably everybody we spoke about. So Juwan Jennings for sure, because we didn't see him last
There
year.
was no
He was
preseason
hurt.
last year.
There was no preseason. So definitely Juwan Jennings. He obviously, so for somebody like him, he basically hasn't played in a real game for almost 2 years now. You're right. That's crazy to think about. He spent the whole season on practice squad. So
And
definitely
was hurt.
Juwan.
Remember that? I think they
Right.
said he like tore his hamstring off the bone or something crazy
Right.
like
So it
that.
wasn't even like he practiced, even like, even he wasn't even like on scout to give the team a look
Right.
during the regular season. So he legit hasn't. That's why he looks so fresh out there. Like he looks like he legit has not played in almost 2 years, and it's definitely showing. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see him play. Trent Sherfield, to see what that looks like, because he's now not just competing for a special teams role. I'm sure in his head, he's like, no, I'm competing for that, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 role. So I'm sure we're going to see he'll get a lot of tick. Obviously, Jalen Hurd, if he can get out there and perform, I would love, I want to see what he has.
I bet he's gonna play. I
I
bet
bet
Hurd
he
is
is
gonna
too.
play.
He's gonna. I bet. Yeah. At this point, outside of your leg falling off, you have to go out there and do what you can. Like at the end of the day, try to put some on film, do what you can, and leave it all out there. And I think he will. And kind of let the chips fall where they may as far as his fate on the roster. So yeah, Jalen Hurd, Juwan Jennings, Sherfield, and I mean the elephant in the room, Trey. I mean,
Yeah.
Trey, I'm excited to see if from everything I'm seeing. Also, he's pushing the ball downfield. I want to see if that translates into the game. He looks like he's very comfortable doing it. Also, and I want to see if that's implemented in the offense. I don't really believe in this. Oh, it's preseason. They're not going to show a lot. At the end of the day, defensive coordinators know Shanahan's offense. They know what he's trying to. They haven't been able to ever since Mike Shanahan has never been able to stop it. So his offense hasn't changed much. He has different wrinkles and whatnot. So I don't believe in this. Oh, they're gonna come out with the vanilla. Nah, they're gonna run their offense. They're gonna run some stuff that they'll probably run week 1 in Detroit. So I'm very, very excited to see what they do, specifically implement with Trey Lance versus the ones. I'm sure the ones will get probably 1 series, maybe 2, depending on how that goes. And then they'll turn it over to the 2s and the 3s, and obviously we'll probably see a lot of Trey Lance. So I'm going to interested to see the offense and how the discrepancy from what it looks like with Jimmy and the 1s versus Trey with the 2s and the 3s, and as far as what Shanahan is going to call and what he isn't. So I'm very interested in all that.
I know one thing. I hope they don't play him behind that second team offensive line, because it seems like I saw one report today that said they counted Trey Lance getting sacked 5 times behind that second team O line. Now it's hard to tell. Is
On
the
Saturday?
offensive line
You talking about the scrimmage?
today?
Oh, wow.
And I think some of it had to do. I mean, Saturday too. There were some throws that Trey Lance made downfield that would have been a sack. It's like, well, yeah, you got Colt McKivitz out there. You can't block nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you get him out there. The hard thing is, it the 49ers second team defensive line that's just hella good, or
They are
the
deep.
49ers second team offensive line just bad? You know what I'm saying?
They are deep.
If that's the case, it's like, bro, like the one thing I don't want, okay, so no matter what position you play, and I'm talking to everybody that's watching right now. We got 90 people in here. If you haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe. We got Bass Bully TV in here. What up, man? First day watching your podcast. Subscribe. Go Niners. Let's go. Feel me? You got almost 100 people in here now. I appreciate all y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure you guys subscribe right now. All right. But one thing you guys need to understand, right? Like at every position, you have like a time clock that goes off in your head. All right. And what I mean by that is there's like a certain level of feeling at ease or rushing. And if you feel rushed, no matter what position it is, and it's different for different positions, right? As a cornerback, if I feel rushed, I'm getting out there and I'm disregarding all my technique. I'm opening up, I'm going. Then the receiver sits it down. I get going 5 yards upfield, and everybody's like, man, what the hell is he doing? You feel me? Like my time clock is sped up. If I'm a receiver, I'm rushing through my route and I'm not getting to my proper depth. If I was supposed to get to 10, I'm cutting it off at 7 or 8 yards short, and now the timing is off. What is he doing out there? Oh, it's on the quarterback. No, it's on the receiver. He didn't get to his proper depth. Why? Because he's rushed mentally. Now, this also can happen with the quarterback. All right. And when you see a quarterback and he knows that this offensive line is not blocking, what tends to happen is they start throwing passes before they want to. They start developing bad habits. The timing looks way off. People are going to be looking at it like, damn, Trey Lance, he's not who we thought he was going to be. And he starts to develop these bad habits. But a lot of it is because the damn defensive line is not blocking. I mean, the offensive line is not blocking. And that can make Trey Lance look worse than he is. Now, maybe I don't know if they feel like, the offensive line is going to be fine and we're good with that. I don't know.
Right.
But I know one thing. I would not be comfortable putting Trey Lance out there behind that second team offensive line. I don't want to start creating bad habits, and I don't want his clock sped up. I don't want him thinking too much. You know what I'm saying? I want him to be able to just go out there and, I got Trent Williams. Okay, I got Alex Mack in front of me. He's going to be helping call out protections because that's going to help me. I got McGlinchey over there. We'll see. Sometimes he gets run around. Sometimes he doesn't, but I feel comfortable with it. Like, put him out there with the ones. You know what I'm saying? Put him out there with the Mostert, the Debo, the Kittle, and I want to see what that looks like. I think that's a fucking explosive-ass offense.
We're going to see it week 1 in Detroit.
Well, we were going to see, but, I mean, you can say that, but if it looks ugly in preseason, they're going to be like, see, he's not ready. See, he's not ready.
Right. No, I just know we're going to see it week 1 in Detroit because I think this is Alex Smith Kaepernick 2.0. Like, a lot of people it's funny to me how soon people forget. Like, a lot of people are just like, oh, is he going to, and everybody keeps forgetting that this is exactly what happened with Cap. Like, Cap was getting the goal line. Like, they would do the zone read, like goal line. They let Cap run a few of those. I think he ran one in against the Jets. I think that was one of the first ones. I think when they played the Jets one time on the road. Then they started doing it and kind of mixing him in a lot more frequently before Alex got hurt, and then Cap took over full time. So we're going to see a lot of Trey. And I think at this point now, Kyle Shanahan, I think we'd all agree that Kyle Shanahan is way more innovative than Jim Harbaugh or who was running the offense back then? That was who's the OC?
Greg Roman.
Greg Roman. And, right. And so they were good at what they were good at. And for the time, they were kind of ahead of the curve, and they were, the league hadn't adjusted to, a lot of those zone reads and wildcat, some of the things that they were doing with Cap at the time. Now the league has adjusted, but now I think with a coach like Kyle Shanahan, he's extremely innovative, and I think he's. I saw a good analogy on this earlier the other day. I forgot what it. I think it was NFL Network, and how they're thinking that what Kyle Shanahan is thinking right now of. I think it was an analogy of drafting Trey Lance as like a little kid at their birthday party, and all their friends bring him a bunch of gifts. And
I saw that.
You saw that? Yeah. I forgot who that was. That was my man. I like that. And I was like, I think that's what it is. Like, he's literally got all these gifts.
Was the one. It was I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. Not Peter Schrager, the other one, the other white dude up there.
Yeah. It's perfect analogy. And I think that that's gonna, he's got Jimmy, and he's got all these other toys that he just got, and he's not gonna be able to not play with Trey Lance right now. He's like, man, there's no way he's not going to, you know what I mean? So I think in a lot of those goal line packages, as I've alluded to, I think he's going to be using him. So that's going to be our time to see him with the ones and see what he truly is and truly can be, Croc. But we have the small sample size of when he's got time to run with the ones, and he's looked good in those brief stints. So yeah, this week is going to be tricky because, like you said, running with the 2 and the 3, that line, I don't think they're as bad as our D line is making them, Croc, because the D line is very.
We're gonna see.
Like, there's going to be a lot of guys that are not going to make this team that could easily be starters. Like, I saw Hurst and I think Key. Those guys are starters and former starters, and they're on the bubble.
But
they're on the bubble technically.
There's a shortage of offensive linemen. So once you get to that second unit, man, it's pretty tough. But I agree. It could be the defensive line, that second group that's just really good. We're going to find out Saturday, man. And again, I appreciate everybody that tuned in today. Man, you guys been rocking with me all day. I've been recording this is like my third time on here live, man. And y'all all tuned in. I appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. Make sure you hit the like button right now. I got Jasper Rose in here. We're here every Wednesday for Wideout Wednesday, going over everything that pertains to the 49ers wide receiver group. Obviously, we ended on a little bit of Trey Lance talk. But until next time, I appreciate you guys. Peace. You're out, man. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crock Talk TV podcast. Peace.